Okay, so when we talk about classifying rational numbers, think of it with these groups here. So Texas is one big state, right? Within Texas, there's Harris County. Then within Harris County, there's the city of Houston. So if someone is from Texas or is from Houston, then are they also from Texas? Yes, because that Houston part is the littlest part in this whole big group, right? So anything inside of Texas, so in Harris County or in Houston, means that it's also a part of Texas. If someone's from Harris County, are they also from Houston? Not necessarily, because Harris County is on the outside of Houston, right? So let's put a highlighter. Harris County is in Texas, and Houston is in Harris County, but not every city in Harris County is necessarily going to be in Houston, or is going to be from Houston, okay? If someone is from Austin, then which part of the diagram? Well, as far as I know, Austin is not in Harris County. It's definitely not Houston, so Austin would go on the outside just in Texas, because Austin is a city in Texas, but it doesn't necessarily fit into the other two categories. So with the number system, it classifies numbers based on their type and characteristics. So the three we're going to talk about is whole numbers, which is the set of all positive numbers starting with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all those counting numbers, okay? Examples 0, 4, 17, 14, any positive counting number. Okay, then you have integers, which is the set of those whole numbers, but also their opposites. When I say opposites, I mean like 1 and negative 1, 5 and negative 5, still 0, 3 and negative 18. All of those are integers because they're whole numbers and they're opposite, so and the negative. And then you have rational numbers, which is kind of everything else pretty much. Rational numbers are numbers that can be written as fractions, terminating decimals, and repeating decimals. Okay, examples, negative 5.6, that's a decimal. 3/4, that's a fraction. 3 1/6. All of these are rational numbers. You could also have a repeating decimal like 0.3333 ... That tells me it's going to keep having that 3 over and over and over again. The important thing is that your decimal either stops or is repeating. Okay? So we're going to look at our group. The largest group we have here is rational. Okay? Then you have your integers. And then our smallest group will be, sorry about the bell, would be whole numbers. Okay? So, just like with our Houston, Harris County, and Texas box, it's the same thing. All whole numbers are integers and rational numbers. All integers are integers and rational numbers. And then you have the rational numbers. So not all rational numbers fit into those categories. So, is it possible for a number to be both a whole number and an integer? Yes. 5 is both a whole number and an integer because integers go for all of those whole numbers as well as their opposites. So negative 5 is an integer but not a whole number because it has that negative symbol, right? And whole numbers have to be positive. But integers include all of those whole numbers but also their opposite negative number. Okay? Negative 5.6 is only a rational number because it's a decimal, right? Okay, so now we're going to place these ones. So negative 9 would go as an integer because it's a negative whole number, right? It's the opposite of that 9 counting number. 0, you want to put it in the smallest group that it can get. So 0 is rational, 0 is an integer, but 0 is also a whole number. 1/8 is only rational because it's a fraction. -1/2, again, it's a fraction, that tells me it's rational. 15, that is a positive counting number, so it's a whole number, which means it's also an integer and rational, but again, you want to put it in the smallest category it can. Okay, 126, same thing. -37, well, it's not a fraction or a decimal, but it's negative, so that tells me it's an integer and not a whole number. And 2/3, rational. Okay, so down here, set of numbers has been classified. Determine which numbers are in the incorrect locations. So -1.0 they have over here in the whole numbers. That is incorrect because where should it be? It's negative. It has a decimal, but it's 0.0, so we know that doesn't really add anything. So really, -1 is an integer. Because it's negative. 10/5 they have as a whole number, and actually that one is correct because 10/5 simplifies down to just 2, right? So check. -7.0 they have an integer. That 0.0 we know adds nothing, so it is a negative whole number, right? So that one's correct. -8.5 is not correct. It should be a rational number because it's a decimal, right? So on the Google form, you guys are going to, for the last 4, tell me if they're placed in the correct place or not. Okay, so -9.7, 3/6, 3/4, and -8/2. Okay.